I was an anti-budgeter for a hot second because I'm not great at details and I'm a spender. So the idea of budgeting always felt restrictive. It felt like, cheap, you can't have any fun. I don't know, it just felt like so many numbers. It just felt like a lot. So here's the deal. When it comes to your money, like anything else in life, your money's going to just happen to you. I mean, you're going to go and file your taxes in April and look at how much you made the past year, and you're going to think, where did it go? Like, we work so hard. I feel like we don't really have a lot to show for it. And so there's just this level of having purpose for your income that is so crucial for your long-term planning and your short-term plannings.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Paula Ferris Show. I'm your host, Paula, and John is with me to kind of tee up today's conversation as we talk about the B word, John.
Well, the B word? Which B word are you talking about?
Budgeting.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Specifically, easy budgeting for families. Rachel Cruze is back this week, and we know she talked about how we can teach our kids to handle money last week, and she gave some really good advice, I thought, to just simplify setting our kids up for success when it comes to handling money and putting it into 3 buckets: giving, saving, spending, giving cash to little so that they can see it stack up, and then giving checking accounts to our older kids. But today she's back to talk about budgeting. Easy budgeting for families, John.
Which is kind of an oxymoron because it's just not easy to budget for families. We may try. I think we want to, but it's just, it's difficult.
I would agree with you about that wholeheartedly. This is something that we struggle with. I think the last couple of episodes that we have done with Dr. Ken Wilgus about planned emancipation with your kids, and Carla Naumberg about how to stop losing your cool with your kids, and last week, how to teach your kids how to handle money. These are episodes, John, I think for us out of struggle, not strength.
Yes.
But specifically budgeting. Like, we struggle with this.
Yeah. But what it does is it puts attention on some very important topics, and it gets you thinking about them and hopefully planning for how you're going to handle budgeting, how you're going to handle parenting in certain situations with your kids. And that's what we're doing on these episodes, which I really love, Paula. You're talking about topics and helping people prepare for things they need to be prepared for in life and parenting.
Yeah. And budgeting is, again, something that you and I have struggled with for a long time, when we made no money and when we made more money. But it's something that I think we are committed to. It's not that we are wild with our money and crazy with our money, but I've kind of been an anti-budgeter in a lot of regards, because I feel like it's almost like a vice, right? You
can almost go too extreme on both ends, where you're too budgeted, you're too restrictive, and it's just like you don't ever really enjoy anything in life, it seems like.
Yeah, and I don't like to be told what to do. You know that about me, right?
I do know that.
But budgeting was a topic that so many of you wanted us to talk about. And the reality is things are tight right now for so many Americans. Credit card debts are at an all-time high. I think I saw a stat, almost 80% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. And that's a suffocating cycle that we feel like we can't get out of. And again, let's just set this whole scene. This is a no judgment zone. Rachel's going to make a case for why we should budget, and she's going to talk about some creative ways to save money, some tracking tools, and answer your biggest questions about money. Again, there's a lot of Q&A in this episode because you guys asked us to talk about this. Also, Rachel used to be an anti-budgeter. Again, Rachel, if you didn't listen last week, she's part of the Ramsey Solutions family.
She is an expert.
Yes, she is Dave Ramsey's daughter, and she used to be an anti-budgeter, okay? So there is hope for all of us if we're anti-budget.
She didn't like to be told what to do either by her father, I believe.
By the way, congratulations to Diane, Kelly, Melissa, Brianna Lee, and Angel for winning copies of Carla Naumberg's book.
Nice job, ladies.
Yes. What's the name of the title, John?
How to Stop Losing Your with Your Kids.
Yes. So Carla was a guest a couple of weeks ago, and those ladies won copies of the book by subscribing to my personal newsletter, which is a free newsletter. It's kind of a everyday look into what it's like to be a working parent in America. I keep a real, authentic perspective on life. We do a lot of fun giveaways. So make sure you're signed up. You can go to paulaferrisofficial.com for that. John, I do really quickly before we jump into the episode, it was Mother's Day weekend. over the weekend and the first weekend without my mom. And I know a lot of people, I heard from so many people who maybe recently lost their mom or they lost their mom 5-10 years ago, and they say it doesn't really get much easier. And so I just want to say, first of all, gratitude and grief. I'm learning to kind of cope with both of those at the same time. Like they kind of come through the same bucket. But I'm going to be doing something really special for my mom this coming week. Should I tell people now or should I wait till after the conversation?
Why don't you tease it? Yeah.
Okay, let's wait till after the conversation. After this conversation with Rachel, stick around for our takeaways. Plus, we're going to have a sneak peek into next week's conversation. But without further ado, here's Rachel Cruze talking about the what, John? The
B word.
The B word. Budgeting.
Budget.
Let's talk about the B word, the budget. Okay. First of all, just lay the groundwork, set the seed. Why is it important to budget? Because I know finances can be a huge strain on relationships and families, but tell us from the beginning, and this is a no judgment zone, okay? But I need you to make a case for this. Pretend like I am anti-budget, even though I'm not. But make a case for budgeting. Tell us why it is important to budget, Rachel.
Yes. Well, I'll say I was an anti-budgeter for a hot second because I'm not great at details and I'm a spender. So the idea of budgeting always felt restrictive. It felt like, oh, cheap. You can't have any fun. I don't know. It just felt like so many numbers. It just felt like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And what I have learned doing this for, Winston and I have been married 15 years and we didn't budget at the beginning of our marriage for a couple of months. And then he's the one that brought it up, actually, Paula. He was like, I feel like we should start budgeting, babe. And I was like, oh, man, maybe we should. Okay, so here's the deal. When it comes to your money, like anything else in life, your money's going to just happen to you. I mean, you're going to go and file your taxes in April and look at how much you made the past year. And you're going to think, where did it go? Like, we work so hard. I feel like we don't really have a lot to show for it. And so there's just this level of having purpose for your income that is so crucial for your long-term planning and your short-term planning. So I love a zero-based budget every month. So some people do quarterly budgets, yearly budgets. I like one every single month, operating expenses. So when your income comes in, and if you are on commission or you freelance, you'll have to kind of guesstimate ahead of time. Here's what I think we'll make. And I usually ballpark it lower just to be on the safe side. This is what we're going to bring in. And now here are all of our expenses. So everything from giving, saving, housing, food, insurance, lawn care, kids, sports. I mean, you go down the list of everything you spend money on.
Expensive. Wow.
And you're going to put dollar amounts next to each of those categories, and your income for the month minus all of those categories should equal zero. And what ends up happening as you start living on this and actually saying, yeah, we're sticking to a plan. Here's our categories. We're not spending within it. Or if we need more in a category throughout the month, we have to lower another category. Number one, it keeps you living below your means. And for so many Americans right now, credit card debt's at an all-time high. 78% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. There is this constant cycle that you feel like you can't get out of. And what is so difficult is a lot of people are living, even if slightly, above what they're making. And that ends up being, I think, financially catastrophic long-term. A budget helps you live within your income. Number two, it helps you decide what you value in life. Because what ends up happening is our money and where we spend it, how we save it, I mean, all the above, if we're not planning and we're not purposeful, stuff is just going to happen and we're going to just take it as it comes and it's just happening to us. Versus saying, no, this is what we want for our life. This is what we want for our family.
Yes.
And money is a tool to get us there. So let's be purposeful with where we spend. And then lastly, you end up actually spending less when you spend on a budget because you actually see where your money's going. So the subscriptions that you don't use, how much you go out to eat. I mean, all these numbers start to reveal themselves of, hey, here's how much we're actually spending. And if we wanted to cut back, we have a starting place to say, okay, we're going to take some of this out to actually create margin. Because that's what people are wanting right now. They want margin with their money because everything is so tight. And you will not get that by just going to the grocery and second guessing everything at the register thinking, I hope this isn't, is this too much? I don't know. Like there's all these questions. A budget solves all of that. It allows you to spend with peace. And that is what's key, is having peace with your money. And a budget's the plan to do that.
Yeah. I'm going to play a little bad cop to this because I tried a lot of different systems, envelopes, Nerd Wallet, the actual envelopes, the cash system. And the time I spent reconciling things and like making sure it was a zero balance because I get real OCD about it, it was just, I felt like money was consuming me, right? Instead of just like, we know where our money's going, we know what our fixed costs are going to be. Our food costs are offensive. Okay. They're just like when you have kids in
Everyone says.
sports, travel sports, I'm like, I eat at Chick-fil-A 5 nights a week. Don't judge. I felt like I was kind of enslaved to a lot of these programs. What would you tell somebody like me? Because I do want to get back to that piece and know, okay, and look, we're doing okay. All right. I don't have my big TV job anymore. I'm just basically, I'm a founder, an entrepreneur. My husband does, he does well. We don't have the income that we once had, but we know our set expenses, our fixed expenses. What would you tell somebody like me on where to even start? And like, how would you convince somebody like me to get back on the bandwagon?
Yes. Okay.
And I'm just being honest. Don't think I'm a horrible person,
no,
okay?
Paula, I so appreciate that. And I think what's hard is you're exactly right. It's the systems in place that either allow this to be somewhat easier and more in the rhythm of your life than it feeling like it's pulling at me and it's stressing me out more, right? So this is totally a personal plug, but it is the truth. So we have an app called Every Dollar, and it's attached to your bank account. And so you do your budget there on the app and the categories, and you can have as many categories or as few, right? And some people, they're not as detailed. They're like, no, we can have bigger buckets and we'll just throw transactions in those. And that's easier. Some people want it like really detailed. So use your money personality, right? There's not a right or wrong way to do it, but it attaches to your bank account. So these transactions drop in. So, every other day you can go in, tap it and be like, okay, there's 2 Chick-fil-A's. We'll just drag and drop that out to eat here, here, here. I mean, it takes maybe 2 or 3 minutes to do it. And then you know how much is left in each category. So I do think you have to find a rhythm and a system that works for you, because keeping up with receipts and all of that, I mean, like that's so difficult.
Such a drag.
But if you can find a rhythm, it is. No, it seriously is.
Oh, it stresses me out. Yeah.
Of it.
Some people love it. My sister loves this stuff. Like she is the detailed one. She loves getting real granular, and I have mad respect. She's an organizer too. Okay.
Totally. No, and I probably fall more in your camp, Paula. Like I'm not super detailed. Like this doesn't come as naturally to me. This part of money. Spending does, and shopping and all of that. I can do that, all day.
At Amazon.
It's a little bit, but it's also a new habit to create. And I feel like a lot of people jump off the budgeting bandwagon because they experience exactly what you're experiencing. They're either finding a budget that's not working for them. They don't budget realistically. And so they think, oh, let's just put $100 for food. And of course, like, no, that's not realistic. So you feel like I'm failing. It's not working, right? So you get into this cycle. And what we have found, if you do a zero-based budget, and you do kind of, and I would say the Every Dollar app, because it's so helpful. It's right there on your phone. It's easy to use.
Dollar. I'm going to download it and I'll tell you what I think about it.
I'll send you a BFF code, Paula. And what's great about it is, again, you're able to map out and see what's going on. And it doesn't take that long. And once you do it 3 months, I always say give it 3 months.
Okay.
It starts to kind of just become a part of the rhythm of it. And then what's weird for me is we went on a trip, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years into our marriage. And when someone's like, don't worry about the budget, like we have the budget for the trip, but I'll worry about it all. And I thought, freedom, amazing. Thank you. And then what's crazy is after living with it for 2 to 3 years, I realized I actually kind of want to know what it is. Like, I want to know what we're spending, because I want to make sure that I can get an appetizer at dinner, and I want to make sure that I can do the things that I want to do. So I actually found like the way I interacted with money did change over time. So maybe that's helpful for you. I don't know if it is, but.
No, that's really helpful. I have some questions from listeners. Adventures of Muffins. That's literally the handle. I don't know their name. I appreciate it. I'm like, do you have a name? But we're going to call them Adventures of Muffins. Wants to know, where do you start, Rachel? Where do you start?
Number one, look at your income.
Okay.
And what's wild is some people don't even really know what they make per month at times. Like, I mean, so logging into your bank account, start there. And I would put that at the top. And then I would go back. And this may take you, 45 minutes or so. So give yourself some time. Log into your bank, and I would go back to last month, and I would start categorizing out how much I spent in big categories. So food, utilities, your rent or mortgage, gas for your car. Get some big blocks of categories, and I would, and you can round up, right? So it's like, $120 at Publix. If it's $123, just say 120. Like, just get some round numbers and kind of place in there and just see, okay, is this in the realm of my income? And how does this feel to me? Like, do I think that maybe I can actually save a little bit at the grocery if we don't go to Whole Foods and we go to Aldi for a month? Like what choices can we make within those to maybe lower some of these numbers and kind of start to figure out that puzzle? So that's what I would do, is I would get your income, number one, and then I would go back to last month and just say, here was us not budgeting, but here's what we spent in these big categories, just to get an idea. And that's what's hard too, Paula, with money, is so many people have these numbers in their head and these ideas in their head. And money, you have to make visual. You have to be able to see it and see these numbers. And that's a really key part, is that it's not just floating in your head, because things get magnified in your head that are not real, good or bad. But to see the reality of where you're at and what you're spending your money on.
Jennifer Ann says, I need help paying off credit card debt, which you said earlier, we're at record credit card debt levels. She says it's hard having the kids, even with two incomes. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, just reduce your expenses. It's not that. You can't be that reductive in today's society. So what would you encourage somebody that has a family, wants to budget, but that needs help paying off credit card debt?
Yeah. So the budget is where you're going to be able to find some margin, possibly, to be able to say, okay, are there things that we can cut out? Because in order to get out of debt, it is so difficult because it takes a lot of sacrifice, because you have to up the income. Usually for a lot of people, that's like their number one way to get out fast, is they get side hustles. They do stuff to up that income and then to lower expenses. But like you said, a lot of people are just like barely making ends meet with just basic expenses.
With the side hustles. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So finding that income. But I would do big things. I would pause retirement. A lot of people fund their 401k, pause retirement. If you got a big tax refund in April, May, June, then you're paying too much in taxes. So go to your HR department and adjust your withholdings, get some money back in your paycheck that way. And then the third big saver, honestly, is shopping insurance. Insurance rates are something people pay for annually or quarterly, and they don't go back and shop them. So shop those and see if you find any extra cash. So that's some like quick,
that's great,
big wins to put money back in your pocket.
Okay.
But when you're paying off debt, list out all of your debt, including credit cards. If you have student loans, all of it, smallest to largest, regardless of the interest rate. Pay minimum payments on everything, and you pay off that smallest debt first.
I love that.
And that's the way you go.
And that's the psychological win. And I know some people will be like, pay off the one that has just that you need some psychological wins early on. Okay. And Mike wants to know how much of our budget should go towards food. This is secretly my question. Kidding. It is actually from Mike, because I mentioned earlier our food costs. And again, we have growing kids. We've got 2 teenagers and a tween. And I like to eat. My husband likes to eat. Literally, our food costs are just offensive. How much of our budget?
No, it is. So I know I can't give a dollar amount, because number one, depending on size of family, income, where you live. I mean, there's so many factors in this, but the average American, I saw this in 2020. Well, was it 2023? Spent like $872 a month on food. So I don't know if that included restaurants, groceries, but I saw that number from the Labor Bureau statistics. So there's that, just to give you the average, right? So you can go up or down from there. This is one of the hardest places that inflation hits. And I think it's one of the things you just can't get around. And it is so expensive. So, and what's so hard about all this, Paula, is I'm like, is that, numbers don't have emotion. They don't care. And so we can't just keep spending money that we don't have. So if you are in a place that you're like, what can we do? So food specifically, again, where you shop is going to be huge. The moment you walk into a grocery store is going to determine how much you spend. And that is the truth. So shop cheap. It's old school stuff. It's to make a meal plan and just say, hey, at night, we're doing crock pot here. We're doing spaghetti here with garlic bread. Like you can budget out some cheap meals. And this is just for a season, right? Especially if you're getting out of debt. This is not forever. But usually going out to eat and sitting down at a restaurant and being waited on is going to be your most expensive way to eat. And so if you can eliminate restaurants, that is going to be a saver for you.
Okay. That's amazing. And now I'm hungry all of a sudden.
I know.
We started talking about food. I was like, oh my word.
It is
really,
so hard
really
though. It's a hard time for people. It really is. It's difficult.
Well, I'm so grateful for you. And again, we're going to check out Every Dollar app, or we'll also list some other resources too in the show notes. But I'm going to check in with you in 3 months after I've been using it, and
I
you can
want
hold
you
me
to.
accountable.
Let me know.
All right,
Let me know.
friend. All righty, Rachel. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. It's so good to see you, friend.
I know. It's good to see you too. Thanks for having me on.
Okay, honey.
Well, that was a shorter episode, Paula, but she packed so much content.
Yes, she really did. And our takeaways in just a second. And we are going to have a sneak peek at next week's conversation. Plus, I'm going to tell you what I'm doing later this week to honor my mom. In honor of Mother's Day, I miss her a ton. Okay, let's get into our takeaways, John. First thing that Rachel said that I thought was really powerful was you have to budget realistically. She says a lot of us that get frustrated with a budget that's not working for us, we're not budgeting realistically. So we're like, let's put $100 in a week for food.
Yeah, I spent $269 at Trader Joe's this afternoon with JJ.
And that was basically dinner. We bought pizza and salad and a lot of
Well,
pasta.
I think we spent about $40 on protein bars. So
it's true. Y'all, I mean, if you have teenagers, they are digging the protein bars.
Yeah.
When do they start paying for some food, especially when they have high protein diets? Is that unrealistic?
Yeah, I think never.
So anyway, you have to find the budget system that works for you, but you have to be realistic. And like you said, you spent almost $300 at Trader Joe's. I have gone to Trader Joe's and spent, I did not know this was possible, over $400. But Trader Joe's, in our defense, is an hour 15 away. We get there just a couple times a year, and we like to.
You treat it like Costco when we go.
Oh, I gotta say, it's a little bit of like a dopamine hit, or I don't know. It's like getting an Amazon box. I get a little excited when I go to Trader Joe's. You did give me flowers for Mother's Day too.
We got you more than flowers. It's actually something you can plant. And being in the South, it's an azalea.
I feel like I didn't have a green thumb for a very long time, but
that's changed.
That has changed since everything that's gone on. I don't know about you guys, but like with grief and trauma, I have really thrown myself into getting my hands kind of dirty. I really like gardening all of a sudden. I like sandblasting. I like spray painting. I like power washing. I don't know. It's just been really therapeutic. But anyway, all that to say, budget realistically. The other thing that she said is you got to be purposeful with where you spend. She says if you're not planning and you're not purposeful, stuff's going to happen and you're just going to take it as it comes versus saying, no, this is what we want with our life and this is what we want for our family. And money is a tool to get us there. So I think it's a paradigm shift that money is a tool to get us there. We've got to be purposeful about where we spend.
Yeah, that was good.
And I think we're real purposeful about where we spend, which is food.
We spend a lot of money on food, yeah.
We do. But having a budget allows you to spend with peace. And again, this is from Rachel Cruze, an anti-budgeter. And I think, we've come around. Again, we're pretty good with our money, but
we can always be better.
We could always be better. And she said with any budgeting tool, you have to do it for 3 months. She's a big fan of Every Dollar. I've been using it. Have I been using it consistently, John?
You were really using it early on. I think it slowed down a little bit, but it takes time and it takes discipline.
Yes. She says you need 3 months to kind of make it a habit. And it has been good, I will say, to see where our money is going. But on the other hand, conversely, it's been terrifying to see where our money is going.
It's a good exercise, that's for sure.
We could feed a small army with our food bill, especially during travel sports and just sports season. So, by the way, the Every Dollar app, which she recommends, and it's full disclaimer, it is through Ramsey Solutions. There is a free version of it. It's easy. It works. Now, if you're a W-9 employee or a 1099 employee and you work for yourself like I do, you might want something a little bit more advanced, but honestly, it's been great. It works for our purposes. It's really easy. You can use it on the app, on your phone, or on your desktop too. So, okay, but a couple of ways that you can save money. You want to go through the list, John?
Yeah, well, you could pause your retirement if you're
Mhm.
feeding X amount of dollars every month into that. You could stop that for 3, 6, 9 months
Yes.
and then catch that back up later on.
Yes, there's nothing wrong with that. There's
No.
nothing wrong with pausing your retirement for a little bit. And if you got a big tax refund this year, which, by the way, we filed an extension, we still have no idea if we're gonna owe or if we're gonna get money back. But she says if you got a big tax refund, then you're probably paying too much in taxes. So go to your HR department, adjust your withholdings to get some money back in your paycheck that way. I work for myself. I don't have an HR department, but John, you do.
Yeah.
So
So we can figure out what's being withheld and
yeah,
maybe can adjust that so we don't have to get such a large refund and we get that more every month.
but we need to know if we're even getting money back this year, and we have no
Yeah.
idea as of this point. It is tax day has come and gone, and we literally have no idea. This was really fascinating. Shop insurance.
Yeah.
She says we pay for it annually or quarterly, and we don't go back and shop. I mean, we are such loyalists. Have we ever
Well, I don't know
shopped?
if we're loyalists. It's just a pain to switch
Wow.
over all of that.
It is.
And there's enough insurance commercials on TV right now. I mean, they're spending millions and millions of dollars trying to gain our mind share and get us to switch. But I that's the biggest reason why we don't or haven't done it in several years. It's just, it's a pain to switch everything over. It's a big inconvenience. And you know how I love being inconvenienced.
Oh, yes, that's like on your probably top 3 biggest pet peeves. Like, we
Yes.
just don't like to be inconvenienced. But can we make a commitment right now to shop our insurance rates?
Okay. I'll do that for us.
You're gonna do that, or are you gonna delegate
We're
that
going
to
to do
me?
that.
We are gonna do that together. Another thing that she said when paying off debt, and this is controversial amongst the financial circles, pay off the smaller debt first to get a win. I know a lot of financial experts will say pay off the larger interest, but often like you're not getting that win. You need that psychological win. So pay off the smaller amount just to get that psychological win, which is really, really, really important. And then finally, something that you and I have done, I
Yeah.
will say, we have been proactive. We have planned our meals because once we started doing the Every Dollar app, and we almost vomited in our mouth how much we are
We were eating
spending
out.
on food.
We were eating out a lot too.
Literally, we could feed a small army. We decided to, on Sunday nights, kind of go over the week. And
When we're not recording a podcast like we're doing right now.
yes, we go over the week and we plan. We do this together. Thank you for that, because a lot of this often falls on a woman or the wife in the relationship. You and I have done this. We go over what we're going to have for the week, who's going to do the shopping, who's going to do the actual cooking that day. So that has saved us, honestly, a ton of money.
Yeah.
And I'm just feeding the kids ramen at this point. Actually, no, they're not eating ramen anymore. They're a little too bougie for that. But there was a season where I could get away with giving them ramen. But
Not enough protein in ramen for our kids. All about the protein.
That's right. Okay, so next week, Christy Wright, also a former Ramsey Solutions family member, but she's a business and finance coach. She's going to talk about jobs, janitors, and roast beef.
Roast
Yes,
beef.
that's the actual title of the episode, but why our kids need to work. And
Why roast beef? Or should I say, where's
John,
the
you know
beef?
this. Where's the beef?
Where's the beef?
We have the meats. Let's just
We have
say
the
that.
meat. Yes, that's Arby's.
We're going to share some of our worst jobs ever. Christy and I will. We have a lot of fun going down employment memory lane, but there's a purpose, and that's to explore why our kids need to work and why giving them real responsibility might be the key to building resilience, and why they need to work. It's a really important conversation. So I hope y'all join us for that conversation next week with Christy Wright. And then we have Barbara Corcoran the week after that. You know Barbara?
I know
In the real
Barbara.
estate world.
Yeah, she's
Yes.
a rock star.
She's amazing. Barbara and I are going to talk about why women control the majority of the wealth in this country, but we're still a little insecure about handling money, and why that is. It's really fascinating. Before we go, John.
Paula, yeah, we teased it. Are you going to share what you're going to do this week for your mom?
I am. And it is hard to talk about my mom. I am struggling. I will be honest. So dad passed away 6 years ago, and mom passed away almost 6 years to the day that dad died. And this one's just been a little different. I've struggled. I've struggled a lot. I have been stressed, sad. I have been overwhelmed. I have been a little angry, to be honest. And that's a stage of grief that I didn't experience with my dad. But I miss my mom. And it's weird to not have any parents. I'm in my 40s, almost 50, and it just feels weird. But anyway, I'm going to do something really special. If you're watching on YouTube, a couple of years ago, I got a tattoo of my dad's handwriting. So I actually took the handwriting from one of the cards that he addressed me. So my middle name is Rose. My parents called me Paula Rosie. So I don't know if you're watching. It says Paula Rosie on my right arm, and that is my dad's handwriting. The tattoo artist was phenomenal. She literally pulled my dad's handwriting from a card that he addressed me. And I found my mom's handwriting from a card that she addressed me. And it also says Paula Rosie. So I am going to get a tattoo this week with my mom's handwriting that says Paula Rosie. So every time I look down at my wrist, I will see my parents' handwriting of my name. So I'm very excited to do that. And, pretty soon I'm just going to have a couple of tattoo sleeves, John.
Well, I hope not, but if that's what you need, then I'll support you.
But I don't know. I know some people have strong feelings about tattoos. There's something really nostalgic for me about knowing that I'm going to go to the grave with something very sentimental and permanent that's from my parents. So I miss them.
Yeah.
And I'm grieving, and grieving is, I think, an endless process. But I'm also super grateful and full of gratitude for the children that I have. And it all flows together. It's kind of a mix of emotions, a cavalcade. Is that a word? A cavalcade of emotions?
I don't think so, but yeah, we'll go with it.
I just coined the term. But anyway, that's going to be happening next week. I'll probably put it in my personal newsletter first. So anyway, really, really looking forward to doing that in honor of my mom. And it's going to be something really special. So John, cheers to you. Thanks for being a great partner.
Yes.
And you know what? Should we go work on our budget app right now, or should we go have a glass of wine? Which, by the way, I already started without you.
Yeah. I think B sounds better than A.
I think so too. B? You mean budgeting?
Plan B.
All right. Okay, honey.
All right.
I love you.
See everybody. Love you too.
Yes. Thanks for joining the show, and we will keep talking about it next week. Make sure you tune in. We're going to talk again about jobs, janitors, and roast beef, and sharing some of our nightmare first jobs. I'd love to hear some of your worst jobs too, if you want to send me a DM, but we'll see you next week. All right. See ya. I know you guys thought you were done with me, but not quite yet. I have one more thing to tell you about. If you're watching on YouTube or you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, don't forget to subscribe to the show. I don't want you to miss a single beat or a single conversation. And remember, my DMs are always open. Tell me what you want to talk about.